What's shaking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Disjointed FoodBiz. This is a podcast and show where we talk about all things related to the restaurant industry and from everything from the hourly to management staff and all things in between. With me, as always, is Thor Markey. Welcome, sir.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
What's shaking? I have no idea, once again, if anybody's going to pay attention to this, but we have fun recording these.
Nobody likes listening to us.
Yeah, pretty much. That's one thing I've learned is that nobody gives a shit now.
My kids don't even listen to me.
Right. Oh, man. Hey, look, somebody already chimed in, man. What's shaking, everybody? All right. Let me make sure I got the, let's see, this needs to go. Let's do that. Fuck it,
All
I'll
right,
just keep
so
everything
we're
on
having
one page.
technical difficulties?
That's not so much technical as Dave doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
That's par for the course.
Exactly. So, guys, this is, like I said, the podcast about the restaurant industry. You know what we should have done? I'm going to do this right now as we're doing it, so we'll just get started with the show. But we've been we're in the process of creating a Facebook page because it's not official till you create a Facebook page.
Right, life's not official.
Exactly.
You're exactly right.
But we'll definitely start sending invites for that. But right now, there's nothing on it. There's basically, it's blank.
It is blank.
So, but we got a URL. So now we'll actually start pumping that out. The disjointedfood.biz, which I was so psyched to get that. I felt like I wanted to call it my high school
Christmas
guidance
came
calendar.
early. Look, I mounted to something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, see, fuck you. So that part was pretty cool. I'm just gonna do this from the phone.
Yeah, no worries, man.
But
the more we grow, the more we'll add stuff to the page.
Totally.
What do you want the page to be about?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, there's the stuff that we talk about, but I'm also, we don't know everything.
No.
I like to pretend that I do, and I talk like I do sometimes, but I don't. So, you know what? I want to some place where folks can actually chime in.
Okay, so jokes, reality, business, dishes, recipes, just whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
we can do
goes.
anything on there. Yeah, exactly.
No trolls.
No trolls. Oh, I'm sure somebody will put up, dude, like, what was it? Like the troll life hacks?
Right.
Did you ever see those?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, if you want to do a really good job cleaning a windshield, tape like sandpaper. These things. People just scrape the fuck out of the windshield. Like, wait a second, what the hell happened here?
Well, they had the winter snow tires. Had quarter-inch screws through your tires. Yeah.
Humans are dicks.
Well, if somebody did it, they're an idiot.
Yeah.
So,
dude, there's somebody that's like, hey, you know what? My little grandson told me about these life hacks. Now, I guess this stupid internet, I'll give it a shot. How come the tires are flat?
You put quarter-inch screws through them.
I put quarter-inch screws in, now they're flat.
But hey, they get great traction in the ice.
Said it on the internet. Sorry, I'm doing an impression from somebody that I work with, and Thor knows what I'm talking about. And one of these days, I don't know. I try not to do the impression of the person right to their face.
They're going to be watching, and they'll get it.
She doesn't know how to work her phone yet. When you talking to
I know. I'm still in the process of teaching her.
What's this magic thing? Who are the elves inside of this to make it work? Is it Jesus?
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my gosh. It was funny. Last night she was like, was it busy last night? I'm like, yes. Yes, it was, even though I know it wasn't. But she saw something that she didn't like, and that's the first question she asked. So I'm like,
I think she sees something she doesn't like every morning.
She's like, great, I got something to talk about. Man. So yeah, that has nothing to do with the food industry. That's just my job in the industry of which is food. I was looking at the page on Facebook, Restaurant Bar and Owners.
Okay.
Which, it's strange. Like, I think one of the reasons why that prompted me to want to have a Facebook page for the show was that not every post when we post about this show goes on there.
The page.
It makes it on there. Apparently, the dude who runs that page is like, fuck these guys, and he's.
I don't know about that. Maybe he's just too busy. Maybe, maybe I'm just making excuses.
Yeah, no, you're trying to be nice. You're trying to be a good human being, which I think is admirable. But any post I put up there that doesn't have a link, he'll usually post it. If it has a link on there, he will not post it.
Okay.
So that's how that kind of works. So I'm like, all right.
So I think the way to get around that is you just post it in a reply, and it goes directly to.
Exactly.
He's got no control.
So I think I'm going to do that this week for sure, because there's some folks that we've gotten some feedback and a few little conversations with folks on that page.
Yeah.
And this isn't shitting on that dude's page and stuff, but he's a consultant, I'm guessing, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Something like that, yeah.
It's kind of like this page, and it's a really ingenious idea. There's nothing wrong with this, but he's kind of using this page to pull leads.
Pull leads, I think, definitely selling equipment. I mean, there's been a lot of, people go, oh, hey, I'm buying a bar, and the next 20 posts are like, exactly. I got equipment, I'll build walls, so.
You want a cappuccino machine? I'll get you a cappuccino machine. I can make one right now. It's great, Yeah, so I can understand that he doesn't want people shelling other people's business on this page that he's trying to make.
Sure, he's trying to brand it for his own. Sure,
yeah, exactly.
I can't blame the guy for that.
Fair enough.
I mean, look at what we're doing.
Fair enough, but you know what? Had you posted those things, I would be telling people more of exactly where they could find your page, thus getting you more leads. But now that you've pissed me off, no, I'm just kidding. You haven't, man. But man, most of the questions usually come up around marketing.
Marketing and advertising.
Yeah, I can actually feel this guy getting more and more pissed off every time people ask him the same question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, you asshole, scroll up.
So, I mean, let's hit it off on that then. So marketing and advertising, as many of you know, it is that outside bones of the restaurant, so to speak. It's going to bring in your clienteles. Now, your restaurant, your food, your service is going to keep your clientele. Right. But what you're looking is fill it up every day, every shift, bringing in new people, whatever else. And a lot of what he suggests that I found on that page is great if you have the money to do it.
Right.
A lot of small business owners are starting out. They got their life savings on the line, whatever else. And when it comes to marketing and advertising, it's got to be change from big business to small business.
Right. Same rules. They're not necessarily going to apply. Like, what's the average return that you get for any type of printed coupon? Ideally, what is it? It's like less than 1%, less than 10%?
Yeah, majority.
Something like that. So, like, hey, I'm going to spend $500 on coupons. Like, great, you're going to get about $5 or maybe, something like that back on that particular return. So that doesn't make sense if you're a small business owner and your whole budget for that whole month was $500, which, by the way, is a lot for a lot of places.
Especially when you do ads and stuff that are over $1,000.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not going to come back. You're not going to make that return. A big company that who probably can do that because they've put it in their budget and they have it for it and they've built up to that.
Well, right.
As a matter of fact, we mentioned Domino's before, but Domino's whole business and pretty much revolves around their coupons for the most part.
Coupons, yeah, they're the latest sales deployment is the box folding.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, that okay. I don't know how you chime in first on how you felt about the box folding commercials.
I can't do it.
All right. This is my issue with I forgot if it was Domino's or Pizza. They're like, look, this is our championship box folder. Look, he can do 100 boxes in less than 5 minutes. And this dude, who obviously has gone through at least 1 or 2 divorces, by the look on his face, he hasn't seen at least 2 of his kids in 5 years, and he's working at Domino's and
probably
pretty much
still making minimum wage.
Probably still making minimum wage, unless he's stealing from the register, and which, sir, I hope you are. Okay, but the whole thing is that it was almost kind of like, look, he's happy working for minimum wage. Look at him folding the boxes. Look at that.
I think they actually got him in the Guinness Book of World Records now.
That's kind of like, oh man, that's me like trying to approach a girl at the bar and impress her with my Xbox Live gamer score. Okay, yeah, it's cool and it's impressive, but it's not going to really help you in the long run. That's just my feeling on it. This dude,
mine's pretty cool.
Yeah. In all fairness, you're already married though, and you're like, fine then. But if you were single and this is the only thing,
okay.
Oh, so really, what kind of car you drive? It's nothing special. It's a nice Civic, and I'm like, cool. So, what have you known for? I'm like, well, I folded the most pizza boxes, and hello,
Hey,
miss. That's basically. But yeah, it was
I'm
something.
not going to put a ring on the finger.
Dude, something about that commercial was kind of like, look, the happy folding boxes.
Hey.
Look at these nice little blue collar people that running around here. He's proud of it. Look at him, and that's kind of the way that I saw those.
I don't know. Maybe now, after everything's said and done, maybe he owns a store now.
That would be interesting. I want to. What's the addendum to that, man? If anybody knows that dude, have us hit him up. Hit us up. So I'm like, did you get? I hope that he got at least, even
he had to have gotten something out of it.
Dude, can you imagine if they talked him into doing that commercial non-union and he gets no residuals from it?
Yeah, that's.
In that case, he got paid $500 for that one day to fold a bunch of boxes, and they're just using his face.
Making money off of it. Yeah,
millions upon millions upon millions. That's why I was still pissed about the Mystery Diner show, because I honestly did not think that thing was going to last like 8 seasons.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched it.
No, and nor should you. But but yeah, I was kind of like, this will just be a nice experience and stuff. I'll put it down. Yeah, whatever, man. This thing isn't going to last. This show is so obviously like whatever. And then 8 or 9 years later, I still get hate mail from around the world. That means that show is being used for advertising dollars all over the fucking planet.
Somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, that's business, just because they were smarter than you and duped you out.
Yeah, which wasn't difficult, by the way. I hope you're not. It doesn't take a lot to outsmart me. Ask any of the people who used to work for me. But no, we're getting back to as far as like the advertising dollars and stuff. So the stuff that this guy was saying, which is all good stuff.
Oh, it's all great stuff.
It's all great stuff. But if it's somebody who's like, I sell sandwiches. Like, what? I was driving.
And I have $100 budget.
Yeah, exactly. What do I do with this? And usually, for somebody who's like a big consultant, that's probably not worth their time.
Well, but a consultant isn't worried about the money. They're getting paid to do a job. They're telling you what to do,
right?
And you have to come up with that. So, I mean, it depends on the type of consultant, what you're consulting for, what the consultant's market is.
Right.
Okay. So, but I mean, for small business owners, all right, you just bought a bar, you don't know what to do, you
watch Cheers all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got one location, you just opened whatever else. So you need to make this, military uses it, but keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
All right. Sales and marketing, break it down like this. Marketing is everything you do on foot and word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Sales and advertising, or marketing and advertising, sorry.
Right.
Advertising is everything you print on paper, coupons, flyers, whatever. All right, because that's cost. That's you can actually process and see what you're doing out of that. And I will tell you out of my experience, and like I've done perfume sales.
Okay.
All right, running around through parking lots with the backpack. Hey.
I'm not going to judge you because I did door-to-door alarm sales, so don't worry. I was right there with you.
I mean, you got to take a sales look at this. So the first thing in sales is, if you talk to 100 people, you might get one.
Right.
All right, you have to have that mentality in the same thing. So, for a small business, my previous businesses that I've done and had throughout the years, the best thing I can tell you, the first thing to start doing, and a lot of people kind of disagree with me with this, but is get into your community.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chamber of Commerce, especially if you own a sandwich shop, they do so many events. You become a preferred vendor. Whatever, lunch events, take the time, go do it. It's a huge local every time a business opens, every time something goes down, parades, whatever. You can be a part of that to grow into your set.
Right.
Get into the schools, get into your community. All right, and soccer fields, baseball fields, football fields, bowling leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not. And I know that sounds funny, but bowling leagues are normally built up of older people.
Right, and that place, the people take that super seriously, man. Those things are no joke.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you get into the community, you get into the schools, you do fundraising for book clubs, or bring in your report card and get a free ice cream. Whatever the case may be.
I will say this. If you are going to do the whole, like, hey, if you come in, if you get an ice cream for a good report card or an A, Tell your staff not to be dicks to the kids
Yeah.
when they come in and try to be like, well, this is with a normal purchase, kid. I don't give a fuck about your age. You know,
Well,
like,
I mean, you think
don't
about it.
do that because I've seen
Yeah.
that happen at Peter Piper. Man.
It does happen. But, I mean, you think about it. Kid comes in, shows his report card. You give him a scoop of ice cream or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and dad are normally going to order something.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to say, hey, you got to buy an entree.
Oh, no, you know what? There was times I'd see like where the parents are just like, "Can he get his pizza now?"
And
Yeah. Like,
you're
all right,
going to
fine.
have that happen.
Yeah.
But they'll come back.
Yeah,
You know, they'll dig into it. You know, get into the community. Community will essentially save, run, and build your business.
Mm-hmm.
It's word of mouth. Get a calendar. All right. Set certain days out of the month where you go to a place. All right. Say like the first Tuesday every month, I'm going to the Honda dealership.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make 5 sandwiches. And I'm going to go at lunchtime. And yes, I realize that's busy time, whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
But go. Drop it off. Car dealerships will feed their employees once a month.
right.
That's a catering thing. Those guys have to eat. They will come in to eat, especially if you're close, easy, and quick.
Right,
Because, I mean, they work crazy hours.
right. They're
Well,
usually coked up.
I mean, they walk around a lot, so
Right.
it's not hard work. But it is a lot of hours on that job.
Totally coked.
You know, but hospitals, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I mean they got
To
a
the
cafeteria.
nurses, by the way.
Yes,
You want that? I found this out this time. You don't advertise to the doctors. You advertise to the nurses and to the MAs and everybody else underneath that because
Yeah.
they come in, they will spend money. I don't know if a lot of folks know this, but doctors don't. This happens so much in New York. You're like, oh look, these surgeons, doctors are going to come in.
No.
They never leave shit. All right.
Yeah.
If you court the doctors, you don't want to court people who are going to come in and piss off your entire staff.
Or you know what works too
Mm-hmm.
is go to administration.
Yeah.
Go to administration because, well, and it used to be back in the day you had to go pick up your checks at administration. Now
Right.
it's all whatever else. But still, you hit the secretaries in the main office.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're eating as security guards come in or nurses, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, word of mouth is huge. Word of mouth is the best marketing that you could ever have. So, and it costs you next to nothing but your time.
Right.
And part of the word of mouth is, and like when I said the Chamber of Commerce,
Mhm.
all right, it's a great thing, but don't go there, sit in the corner, keep to yourself, and play on your cell phone.
Right.
Talk to people. Sell yourself. Sell your company.
Indeed.
It is the cheapest thing you can do to gain that word of mouth and get people in your door. And you have to take time for it.
And that could be really tough for folks who basically who are shy.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's some folks where I've seen business owners where I mean they're good at what they do, but man, if they just don't like talking
I
to
mean,
people,
you
which
can-
is odd that they
yeah.
would get in the restaurant industry. But
You
If
can
you
be a
c-
numbers guy and,
Right.
you know, have no personality. It's okay.
if you're going to do that, at least send somebody who is. I mean, the whole point is that you're getting that is introducing yourself, communicating, talking, like and spreading that word of mouth to get
Yeah.
folks to come in. So, you know, be smart about it. Like I was thinking of like if there was like a math contest or something, I would not send myself to go. All right, I would send
With the
somebody.
calculator.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Well, he's got the internet on that thing. Don't even worry
Yeah.
about it. He'll figure it out. But yeah, you would want to get somebody at least to get the job done. You mentioned something about like as far as word of mouth and how that's the most important thing, and it costs you next to nothing except for time. One of the things that I've noticed, because one of my buddies, Hamill, Jake Hamill, who's been on the podcast a couple times, he's lifetime back of house dude, and I want to we got to do an episode on how to handle or have a defense against negative social media attacks. That one's going to be kind of weird, and I think that's something that there's definitely. I know there's a zillion wrong ways to do it. I'm not sure what the right way to do it is, and I think that it's something that I think needs to be discussed. Just because this is the reason why I was a dick to certain people. And by the way, none of this is right. But if I didn't stick up for my staff, especially like at the airport, it was, and I've made this mistake at other restaurants before. When I didn't stick up for my staff, when somebody was abusing them.
You lose your staff.
You lose the staff. You lose their trust. Lose their the trust. That's basically it. They're not going to work as hard for you anymore. They're going to eventually leave. They're like, what Why would I work for this dude who just sold me out so he can keep $6, for what? For a customer who ordered a sandwich and a soda? What is that? Am I not at least worth that much to you? And of course they're worth more than that. Well, most people. I'm sure, I don't know what kind of staff you guys have, but there are people out there that figure if I yell and scream enough, then I will get free
everything I want.
And if I don't get free shit, I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to light them up on Yelp. I am going to call in the health inspectors, try to get like surprise inspections on that restaurant. There are people that will do that. Yes. I've seen people who do that. So what is it?
Okay, so this is going to be kind of out in left field.
Sure. What? Right. On this show? What are you talking about?
So when we review things, when we comment on things, all right, my own personal belief is you should review and comment on products.
Right.
Okay, now what I mean by that is one of these, product. When I go buy a car, what's the thing on buying a car? Never buy a car made on Monday.
Right.
Never buy a car made on Friday.
Right.
You always want to buy a car when? Wednesday.
Right.
Why? Because it's middle of the week. Everybody knows their work and nobody's hungover. It's all routine, all right? So when, there's reasons to that, because they're people, they're individuals, they're affected. So why do we review service? They're people. Somebody answering a phone could just got screamed at, and they got to pick up that phone again and try and help somebody else.
Totally.
Server, their car could have gotten stolen, and they still had to show up to work to pay their bills. So maybe they're having a bad day. I mean, come on, we're all human.
Right.
We all make mistakes, all of us.
That's that's part of the culture now. Not to get too much on the even farther in the left field, but with the internet, you can light into somebody and
and destroy them.
Just destroy them and then just leave. Threaten, I'm going to get you fired and stuff. I'm like, okay. I mean,
right, and then they're out of a job. Families, hungry, starving. The kids need socks or shoes, or people don't realize the damage that they're doing with this just because either they wanted a free meal or something was messed up.
They want to feel vindicated maybe because, gosh, what was it? Jay Moore had this whole bit about the guy flipping out at a Starbucks because he wanted no foam. He's like, how dare you? I've been coming here for years. The coffee's not hot enough, and my wife's a bitch. My kid won't talk to me. I've been working for the same salary for the past 15 years at a job that I hate, and there's foam on this. I asked for no foam. And, that's...
Well, but, I mean, okay, so if anybody does listen to this, say we get 1 million viewers. I don't care where in the world you are. If you go through McDonald's drive-thru, they fuck it up.
Oh, yeah.
But we go back.
Right.
Why?
It's there.
It's there. It's quick. It's easy. So what if I get the wrong shit? But if you go and sit down and they fuck up a minute detail or you get a young kid that's say seating you and he doesn't really know what he's doing, but you drill into them, what's up with that?
Just trying to pick on somebody that's weaker and somebody they think that nothing bad's going to happen.
Make yourself feel better, and whatever else. But all right, I can understand if I'm going out and I'm doing a fine dining thing and I'm spending $300-400 for me and my wife. If something's messed up, I could understand saying something. I don't understand getting to the point of screaming and yelling because it is customer service. They will. I mean, let's face it, most places will take care of you. They want your business. They will fix whatever to make it right.
Right.
All right? But when you get like that, I mean, but hey, if I'm spending $300 and you overcook my steak, I'm going to be like, all right, this is wrong. If you do it 4 or 5 times, all right, I'm probably going to get upset because I could have just gone back there and cooked it myself. But how you have that price tag to it. That's a hefty price amount for a meal.
Right.
But you go get a burger at McDonald's for $10 and you lose your shit over it.
Yeah.
It's a $10 cardboard piece of shit.
Yeah. And it's I've seen so much of this where it makes me sad that Well, on both sides of that whole issue, one that somebody would want to lash out at somebody because they basically take their whole life out on them. And it's also upsetting when I see somebody roll over backwards for somebody who's doing that.
Yeah.
For a $4 thing, I'm like, oh man. And by the way, the reason why I'm cavalier about it is because I have multiple forms of income. That if I ever get fired from one thing, I can do. I got 2 or 3 other things I can do. Don't want to put myself in that position, but part of me is kind of like, well, let's follow this fantasy exactly how far it's going to go.
Well, and that's becoming the standard in customer service too. So
there's a dynamic that has to shift.
It's a hard line that you have to manage.
I think we're the direction that we've been in ever since, like, let's say the 50s, because it's basically been. Whenever when TV came around, like, this is how customers should be treated, this is how this should be done, and it was an advertising campaign to make people, basically, how I feel about it anyways.
Right.
Blue-collar folks who weren't necessarily as educated as the guys who were in charge.
Treat them like trash.
Or make them feel like, no, you're royalty, you're a customer, you're somebody special. Don't you know that? And they're like, you know what, Heath Rod, I am a customer, and I guess I am special. Like, yes, you deserve to be treated like us, even though you aren't. So come on into this place. We're going to treat you like you always wanted to be treated. Like you're a king. Not like you're some idiot who married somebody who didn't, because you didn't want to go to one town over, so you married the first person who was available, and now you're stuck in a horrible life. But no, come on in here and get this burger, and we'll treat you nice.
Well, I mean,
we're not going to hurt you the way you did, asshole. That's...
How many, it just thought of process. How many people actually go through butler training? And yes, it's a thing. It's out there. There's butler school. But I mean, come on, man. Just be a fucking human being.
We're having a hard time with that. I am right now. But
I mean, the other day I had a deal go through, and I couldn't change him for the life of me.
You were a saint, sir.
I think I gave him a lot more than I should have. Mm-hmm. But again, that's my job.
Right.
You have to find, and sometimes you have to give the house.
Right.
But I see a lot of these videos. YouTube's got a ton of them. Angry customer versus employer or whatever. Come on, man. These people are losing their shit.
Well, Hamill was telling me about a dude who immediately... Like, he heard some of the guys back behind the counter swearing. He's like, you guys shouldn't be swearing. He's like, okay. It's like, what was that? And the guy already had his phone out to record the conversation.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get a rise out of the employees there. And I think one dude got fired because of it or something. So, well, that's also because the guys who run that particular the restaurant, I feel, anytime that somebody does that, like, oh, we got a bad review on Yelp, quick, fire that employee. You deserve to get fucking robbed when that happens. I'm sorry. Hopefully by your employees, not from an outside person. But, that's not being a leader. That's not being freaking somebody.
They should stand up, whatever else. I completely agree with that.
Then again, I don't know what that person's, job history was. Maybe they showed up late every, 15 days in a row.
Yeah, I mean, but,
As I walk back my head.
Restaurants have always been a world of their own. You say what you want, whatever else, and it's funny because you go in lawyer offices, doctor offices, they're very prim and proper, whatever else, rightly so. But let's think about this. If I go to an NFL locker room, I can hear everything that I want to hear. Those fuckers are making millions and talk worse than I do in the kitchen. And I know that's a dude thing, whatever else, but I could go into, I don't know, the U.S. women's soccer locker room and probably hear just about the same junk. It doesn't matter, it's premise or promise, whatever. Oh, we make a lot of money, we have to be. No, you don't. You just don't want to offend somebody. You turn around and get sued.
Right.
That's a whole nother thing. Too many people are so happy, but hey, whatever.
Well, it's really weird. This comes down to picking a really good staff and hiring practices. If you run a house full of degenerates, you want to find somebody else who is going to be a high-functioning degenerate as well.
Yes.
The reason why I say that, especially with front of house, is that gosh, man, most of my friends, I didn't at the time, but they're all smoking weed. They drink after work and stuff, and we always just have crazy conversations. Well, we get somebody who comes from a very, very conservative family,
Sure.
from a very particular religion that does not want to even hear swearing anywhere around them. Suddenly, the entire business now has to change the dynamic on the way that they work in order to accommodate
Right.
that one other person. And so it's one of those things where I'm like, on paper, I agree with that. I understand that. And they do have a right to not be feeling like they're harassed at work.
And there's
Absolutely.
some things that shouldn't be said, definitely.
Yeah, but we work in restaurants. We're not the clergy. All right, we're not working in an operating room. We're like,
It's kind of the point.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to be a nice person, I wouldn't have started working in a restaurant, dipshit. Like that's not the kind of people we are. My old boss, Mr. Nick, would always say, like, this is not a gentleman's business.
Okay.
Nice people do not work for restaurants. If you want to be a nice person, get the fuck out. You are not going to last in this business. You want to be mean, you have to be like me.
Yeah, but that was old school.
Yeah. Well, I think that guy's still alive.
Well, yeah,
That
but
dude's still alive and still running a restaurant 23 and a half hours a day. He's just running on fumes of hate. It's like, I would be scared if I wasn't so impressed by this dude.
yeah, you're working there 23 hours a day. What kind of person you think you're going to be?
Yeah, right? What if he's not even Greek? He's been so stressed out. He's been there for so long. So he just screams at everything and like, hey, what island are you from? He's like, Samos, whatever. Oh, wow, that's great. Look, I got the pictures up here. Look at this shit.
He's really from Padre Island,
Yeah,
Texas. You're like, holy shit.
Is that what happens to you? Oh, yeah.
Damn.
It's craziness. But yeah, that always. But kind of going back, being a little bit serious about hiring practices, is that you really, really have to. It's like trimming one of those bonsai plants. Sometimes you think somebody's going to work out, and you got to try to mold them a little bit, and then eventually, if they're not going to fit, if you've given them 60 days, or I would say at least after a couple of weeks. Unless they do something really, really egregious.
They should at least have a month or two.
Right. But if it's get to the point where, like, all right, so, like, I discovered this early on when my first few management jobs, when the employees would get pissed off at me. And this, by the way, this is not fair to anybody who's a manager out there, but they will all come to you saying and griping and bitching and like employee X, who's not doing their side work, always shows up late, is not pulling their weight around the restaurant. They have to work harder because employee X just can't get their shit together, right?
Or it'd be easier if they weren't there at all.
Yeah, exactly. So there could be that. When it comes time to, like, all right, well, I need to get documentation for they did something on there. Mm-hmm. I need somebody as a witness. Who's going to step forward?
Nobody.
Nobody's going to step forward.
Goose egg.
But they're going to be pissed off at you for not doing something. So it's like,
a lot of times, yeah.
Which that happened to me, and they're like, why don't you fire? I'm like, I can't just fire somebody because I don't like them.
Even in a right-to-work state,
mm-hmm.
you can't just fire somebody. Everybody's like, oh, it's a right to work. You can let them go for whatever. No, because they're going to turn around and sue, or mm-hmm. they're going to get workman's compensation, and yes, you pay for that anyway, but it's better if, because, let's face it, after six people in a year getting workman's comp or Unemployment, sorry.
Mm.
You're paying a lot more because whatever you're paying to keep it per quota
mm-hmm.
is gone.
Right.
So, I mean, even though it's right to work, you can't just let somebody go. And a lot of the issues, too, that you end up finding is the ownership or whoever owns the business doesn't either, thanks to the government, doesn't always get the paperwork on time saying, hey, this person's filed, this is your day to contest.
Okay.
Or they're so freaking busy that they forgot about it, or they can't go, or something comes up, and let's face it, the state goes, here you go.
Yeah.
What'd you get fired for? Oh, I took the safe out of the office. Oh, here's your check. Have a nice day. It's just how it works. It's freaking horrible.
Well, on top of that, I would say even for non-legal reasons that the rest of your staff has to see that you went through a due process, even though they're going to hate that due process.
Yes.
But if you just fire somebody because you like the way they want you to, eventually, right after that, I'm glad that person's going. Wait a second. What if they're going to do that to me someday?
Right.
what the hell is this guy
they'll
from?
also respect the process too.
Yeah, they're like, nope, this is what we got to do. These are the rules. We gotta stick with it.
Well, and I had somebody the other day go, I see that schedule you gave this person.
Mm-hmm.
You did the same thing with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You blown them out? I can't answer that for you.
Right.
Yes, I am. But I mean, there's certain ways that you can get around it. But I mean, back to the whole training thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something, I just thought of.
Okay.
I'm LD, which I'm dyslexic as fuck. It takes me a minute to pick shit up.
Okay.
All right. But everywhere you go, everybody's got a training book.
Right.
It's the same fucking thing everywhere you go.
Just about.
All right. It takes me a minute. It takes me a certain way to learn things.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Because I'm an idiot. Let's face it. But nobody learns the same.
Mm-hmm.
So why does everybody have one book that we teach from?
Well, for the most part, Starbucks was their training was a bit different. But yeah, there's
But it's still a book.
Yeah.
It's still the manual. It's
Right.
still, and yes, their book. It's pictures. It's so it is easier to learn from.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, but everybody learns differently.
Mm.
Why do we do the same training process for every individual?
Yeah, it is kind of strange. I mean, it's all visual just from the reading and stuff, right? I mean, some people do videos, and videos might work if they weren't like industrial videos are freaking notoriously horrible. It's kind of like Ed Wood would be like, God damn, seriously, you guys call this film like...
Throw the ball. It's a gameplay.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, guys. Hello. Hi. I can't believe we have to do another meeting. Huh. Like, yeah, and... those
They're
things are just
very corny.
Yeah, so to the point where you really don't learn anything. You're just kind of waiting for it to be over.
They run in every industry, though.
Yeah, that's why I don't think so. I think maybe, you know what? Here, that's our new idea, man. We're gonna do audio versions of the training.
No.
So we'll just put in there like, which one do you want? Do you want to have the by the book one or by the one that Dave's gonna do? And I'm like,
well, and I don't know. I might have the one you do. That might be funny.
It's like, all right, listen. I'm pretty drunk. I'm like hammered drunk right now. So hopefully this shit makes sense. Okay, the micros. Have you figured it out yet? If not, find the front door and just start walking, dude. All right. And
well, but as an employer, you're relying on whoever the trainer is,
right,
to change the demographics to mold it to the person that you're trying to teach.
Yeah, and for that they get like a sandwich or something, I think. Right.
Yeah. Let's see. If they wanted to be teachers, they'd be teachers. They wouldn't be working in the food business.
Exactly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like teaching people. I like showing them new things, whatever else.
Shout out to Tracy Cotton. All right. Sorry.
Okay.
She was actually a school teacher that I worked with at Macaroni Grill.
Oh, there you go.
She went
All
back
right.
to managing now, so now she's just beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, okay.
I got to get her on the show. She's amazing. All right. Anyways.
But I lost my train of thought completely. He said cotton.
Yeah. She told me one time she dove into a car to get a signed check from this dude. That's how nuts she was when she was younger.
Okay.
Oh no, the guy was trying to bolt on her and dine and dash for like an $86 thing.
And she dove in the car.
She dove into the car, fucking grabbed the dude. And I'm like, oh my God, you're my hero. Miss Cotton? She's like, you bet.
I don't know if I'd go to that extreme, especially
dude.
Nowadays. Somebody pull a gun on you, you have a bullet in your head.
I don't think she would have cared. That's what made this woman so amazing.
All right.
But no, I mean, the training aspect is super important. It's not more like... Most restaurants now, it's always been 5-day training course for the most part. Some
5
places,
to 7.
5 to 7. Anything that's going to be like 2 weeks, I'm like, why are you taking 2 weeks? You should be able to figure out if somebody's going to be able to work after the third day, I would think.
Well, I mean, there are places, if you have an extensive menu, one comes to mind, Mountain Pot.
Yeah.
They run like a 2-week training program.
Oh, for that part I get, but I mean, I guess like after the third day, you should be able to...
They got like 3 pages of wine.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. We got a lot of cheese here, son. That's what we're known for, the Mountain Pot.
It's Gouda.
Well, I guess...
It depends on the style.
Right. And then also like how you're going to compensate the trainee to make sure that they don't bolt.
Right, but if you're in a fine dining, and say they change the menu all the time, it's a train on you go. I mean, when I was in fine dining, we would change the menu every day.
Right.
at certain places, and you would do an on-the-fly training course from the chef in the kitchen before the shift started.
You're like, all right, assholes, look at this. All right, first of all, yeah, no, I've had those.
So, but I mean, that's the huge difference between the professionalism of then and now. The difference of professional wait staff to our hourly set.
Right.
Oh yeah, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been at Denny's.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily put them in a steakhouse.
Right. There was a time when we had like professional chefs behind the line. Now we just have millennials with alcohol problems. But there's a difference. They're just culinary graduates.
Not really. I mean, the chefs had Coke problems. So.
Oh, that was back then. But they were able to move faster. I mean,
they could still function.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't let them touch the remotes. That's all. It was that simple. Simpler time back then. When it was all like...
Do a rail, bang out breakfast.
Yeah.
Smoke a fatty, do lunch. Vodkas and cranberry for dinner. Let's go.
Dude, I never worked with it when I'm high. Which... There was twice when I did it by accident. One because I thought the edible had worn off. This is a macaroni grill. And I showed up at work and I'm like, oh no. I'm still high. And I'm pretty sure I got triple sat now. This is not going to end well. And the first time, though, was also because of edibles. That everybody Amy D back at the Pizzeria Uno in Tempe, awesome friend of mine. She had one pot cookie, and so she just broke it up. Hey, everybody have a piece. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm like, yeah, just a little bit. I'm not feeling anything. And I just kind of you slide into that buzz, and then realize I was just turning and burning the whole entire night. And then suddenly I'm in the weeds and I don't know why. And I'm like, and I'm pretty sure.
Saying hi was easy. Clearing the table is another story.
Oh, dude. And then why I just kept eating croutons and realized I'm in the weeds. I'm eating croutons. My mouth's full of croutons. And I'm like, oh shit, this is bad. This is not good. I got to go home.
I don't know. I back in the day I was a functioning drug addict. So, I've done Mother's Days on tabs of acid and ecstasy.
Nice.
Expediting food. It was a blast.
This plate is so warm. Oh, my God. Guys, have you felt how soft these mashed potatoes are? I love everybody.
The hardest thing was reading the ticket. Putting everything on the plate was easy.
Oh. Share your stories about getting wasted on psychedelics, and then Mother's Day was the worst freaking day to work at Macaroni Grill. By the way.
Yeah, I had 1 year I did at Longhorn Steakhouse when it was ran by Rare. And, it's Mother's Day. We're moving and grooving. We're 2-hour wait, and the dragon goes down.
Oh.
And, I was pretty high. So we're washing plates by hand.
Right.
Bringing them a line, selling the food, going back, washing plates, bringing them a line, selling the food to get it out. And, of course, it's Mother's Day at 7 o'clock at night. Nobody's coming out to fix the damn thing.
Right, and somebody wants to feel special.
Yeah.
I want to talk to a manager. I'm like, the manager's tripping balls right now, miss.
I was a cook then. I was corporate trainer, so the manager was happy because we were doing it all for him.
Can you imagine? I want to talk to the manager. Their eyes are all full blown and just hey, man.
I've actually gone out to a couple places and hey, is the chef in? Let me have him come out. And, bro, when they come out, they come out. I mean, you can smell the alcohol and the weed on them. And you can tell the guy's sitting at the end of the line just chilling, letting his sous chef do everything.
Oh, wow.
I had one, we're in New York. Guy comes out and he's got a goblet of wine. He's got his whites on, goblet of wine. Hey, how you doing? I was like, wow. Telling him it was really good, this and that. Can we have a look at the kitchen? Sure, come on back.
Yeah.
I think we ended up being back there for an hour, drinking a couple bottles of wine with them.
It's nice when it's nice, but man, it's
I felt sorry for that Sue though.
Really?
Well,
because they had to pick up all the slack while this dude's like,
this dude's just chilling, and
I feel bad for some of the staff that I work with sometimes because I'll get on a roll with like chatting with a customer, and I'm like, I need to step away from this table, but
sometimes it's hard, man.
Sometimes, I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I'll try to make up for it in other ways, but yeah, I could see the feeling bad for the sous chef there. There was one other thing that I wanted to bring up as we start closing out. That of the industry. Let's see. We talked about staff and we talked about marketing, and that was the other. Okay, one of the things that we were talking about portion sizes and stuff. And you set the size for portions, and it used to be, as you were talking about, it used to be around 33% that you would spend on food cost.
Yeah, it was like 33, 35.
That's like 20 years ago or something, right? 32. Right.
Now everybody wants, 23, 22, right. 21.
And this reminded me of this, the last time, I remember when, speaking of advertising, this is back, it had been over 5 years ago in Phoenix, hearing on the radio all the day was about fire hose subs made by firemen. I'm like, okay, let's go check this out. And because it sounds like I've seen when I go to the grocery store and you see the firefighters there, they're loading up with all sorts of freaking awesome food.
Oh yeah,
because they just sit around, they work out and cook all day if there's not a fire. From what I don't know. I asked my wife; that's pretty much
yeah.
So I'm like, all right, firehouse subs should be pretty cool. I go there and there must have been I'll get a steak sandwich and I'm guessing there was 4 ounces of meat on this. And I'm looking at it. And it's an $8 sandwich that I just paid for. I'm like, okay. I wrote a letter to them. I'm like, I don't know what the specs are on this sandwich. You can't possibly think that 4 ounces of meat is enough for an $8 thing. So one of two things are happening. Either this is a horrible menu item, you need to punch your executive chef in the face, or maybe not. Because I always write these stupid letters just to see if I can have a thing, and try to jar them up a little bit. Or you have a regional or a GM or whoever's running the store is trying to fudge as much numbers on his food costs so that way he can come in way under budget,
get a huge bonus. Sure.
So that money's money's going somewhere. And I used to the spec for for this my Dave. I won't say his last name, but one of the first or second GMs I had at Pizzeria Uno years ago, the Chicago Classic, which is the personal size pizza, is a cup and a half worth of cheese, and a half pound patty and a half of sausage. It's an extra cheese, extra sausage, freaking huge amount. It's like a cardiac pizza. Right. He was he was ordering all of his line to only put a half a patty of sausage and
skim it every way you can.
3/4 of it.
Sure.
Yeah, so he was trying to really, really kind of work people over on that. So that was the first time I've seen it, and I've seen when I go to a restaurant and I'm like, this can't be what your freaking portion size is.
Well, right, and that's where like I said with the retail when we were talking earlier, Walmart creates retail prices for the rest of the retail world,
right?
While corporations are teaching, restaurant corporations are picking or setting the trends for portion size and cost and stuff like that. But I mean, at the same token, and I'm a New Yorker, you've lived in New York.
Yep.
As a New Yorker, when was the last time you went to a deli, spent $6 on a sandwich, and it was paper thin?
Right. Only in Times Square.
Well, yeah, okay, Times Square.
But that's for tourists, and they deserve everything that they get, to be honest with you.
Right, but I mean, if I go to a barbecue place and I'm not taking a to-go box with me,
right?
I mean, I should have a mound of barbecue. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand the prices on ribs and stuff like that. But brisket is still pretty cheap.
Pork shoulder's cheap.
Pork shoulder's pretty cheap. Majority of what you have in there is pretty cheap. If you're a sandwich shop, come on, man. Unless you're getting boar's head, you figured out a way to keep it down. A lot of these guys are putting 4 to 6 ounces on the sandwich.
Right. By the way, all the delis in New York, they all serve boar's head.
So, yeah, but I mean,
still think that's a big
unless
money
they do it
laundering
themselves.
Thing. Right. No, I was going to say that's probably because they're all laundering money. That's why.
But I mean, ultimately your food in a restaurant is what they come in for. All right. So why are you skimming on the star of the show?
Right.
All right. You know, I
Because
mean,
the other guy's doing it, and he seems to be doing okay.
well, and hey, I can make more money.
Yeah.
Yes, but if you don't skim,
Mhm.
and you know, part of me is, and a lot of times you go out, if you do get a to-go box, you get this styrofoam piece of junk.
Mhm.
All right, there's a reason why pizza places, including the single slice boxes, have their name on it.
Right.
People see it. It's free advertising.
Right.
All right, so why do restaurants not have it? I mean, they'll, like, take Olive Garden.
Mhm.
They'll have those microwavable dishes, whatever, and yes, it goes into an Olive Garden bag.
Yep.
You know, so hey, that's. But half these places will do, you know, little T-shirt thank you bags that you can buy anywhere.
Yeah.
And there's no advertising. There's no any of it. Spend the money for it.
That's a nice passive way, I think, and a good and intelligent way to spend your money. As far as if you're talking about for advertising, you don't want the local paper saying, "Yeah, we can run your coupon for $2,000 or something like that," and you're like,
Right.
"Oh, I can't afford that." Well, and the thing is, it's weird when it comes to paper costs, which is your consumables, which is like your salt, pepper packets, your napkins,
whatever.
your plastic bags, your to-go stuff. That stuff you're not going to sell, but you're definitely going to have to use. So folks will panic and think that, like, "Oh my God, I'm just going to hemorrhage cash on this one aspect of my P&Ls," which, if you look at it that way, yeah, you're right. You're doomed. Everything's going to suck. But if you try to use that as an opportunity, like, well, instead of spending an extra $2,000 on advertising, I'm going to spend an extra $50 or $100, whatever I spent on paper that particular week, and I'm going to put my name, my phone number of my business on these to-go boxes where everybody's
Right.
taken, and then I'm going to see if that works. And you know what? It does. There's a reason retail has been doing that for years. Every time you
Retail's
see
been doing it for
a long time, every time you see
decades.
girls like walking through the mall, right, and they all got
bag.
bag. And you know what? There's probably one little thing, like there's a pair of socks in one bag.
Right.
There's maybe one pair of pants in the other, but it looks like they've got mountains and mountains of stuff, and they're walking around with billboards for every place that they went to.
Well, I mean, you know, if you think about it too, you see those bags, you see those signs, you recognize them without even.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you know, that logo, you know that sign, you know that bag, you know what's there, what's, you know, what you're going to get, whatever else. It's branded into our brains just from seeing 60 of them walk by me in the past 5 minutes that I've been in the mall.
Right.
You know, so I mean, but cutting the food, really, that's the whole reason.
Yeah, that's
You know?
what you're there for.
You know,
If
it
people
is.
want to save money, they could sit home and eat. And
And let's face it, if I take a to-go box home and I have good portions, and say I have a poker night at the house,
Mhm.
Hey man, beer's in the fridge. Hey, what's in this box from JoJo's?
Yep,
Word of mouth.
always works.
Easy.
And by the way, obviously, if they have a bunch of takeout boxes, hopefully it's for cheap stuff. Like, let's put it this way: like, if everybody's selling steak dinners and stuff, and everybody's taking, there is something to be said about if you see too many to-go boxes going out. Well, this only happens when your clientele is all seniors, but they don't eat a whole lot, man. They don't eat nearly as much as as younger people do, and they always get like half of stuff to go. But
Yeah.
there could be something to say like, oh, there's nothing but seniors here, and everybody's taking to-go boxes. I bet I can cut my portion sizes down and save some money. And yeah, you could. But
One thing I always liked about portion sizes, when you went to Denny's or Waffle House or IHOP or whatever else, you know, after the club or you've been drinking whatever, you go in there, you're smashed. You're like, yeah, I want the steak and eggs. That thing is paper fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? But it's huge.
right,
It's huge on the plate. So when you're looking at it, you're like, oh, and you know, you're going to pound it away. You're going
Right.
to feel full because you're drunk anyway. But then you go to these steakhouses, and look, if you're selling a 6-ounce steak at a steakhouse, you need to be smacked.
right.
If I'm making a burger and it's a fresh burger at any restaurant and it's below half a pound, you need to be smacked.
And you're not fast food, of course.
Well, I mean, fast food, you get 2 patties for a half a pound now.
Usually, the only place it's I agree.
Unless you're getting a kid's burger.
right.
4 ounces, 5 ounces, 6 ounces, fine. It's a kid.
Fuddruckers, we sold more third pounds than we did half pounds.
Well, but even, you know, when Fuddruckers came out, I mean, you had all the meat shops, whatever else.
Yeah.
and they clipped that and got rid of it. I understand it; it's a cost.
And died a slow, painful death.
But when they had that, they blew up.
Yeah,
they grew something fierce. They had a show. It was fresh, quality product, and I don't even think they had quarter-pound burgers when they first opened.
Never did.
It was all like half-pound.
Yeah, third pound, half
the
pound.
big ones.
Right.
You know, but I mean, they had the show. They blew up something fierce, and yeah, I'm sure the cost of meat going up kind of screwed them too. But
they did, but they also
they made decisions that weren't smart. If you have the star of the show and you're highlighting that, and you have good service, then you're going to do fine.
Yeah, I think there was many, especially with that, because I worked for that company for a year or two, guys, and it wasn't one particular thing. It was and they didn't do anything that was different than a lot of other companies did at the time. Like I think we're starting to see like wages go up for a lot of hourly associates now. From stuff that I hear from
the
people.
Salary thing, that's right.
Oh yeah, and it's not that. I think it's because they're like we mentioned this before. It's like for pizza delivery. Now the independent pizza restaurant has to compete with Uber and Lyft, and as well as DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub and all these other things. So like
plus the big boys of competition.
Exactly. So now it's not unheard of to see like a pizza delivery person working for 13 on up for hourly, not including tips. Because like shit, we got to pay a lot of money. There was a time like Fuddruckers was guilty of this. It's like, all right, how much money are we making? We're making 25 to 30 grand a week. This is very important for our product that we have good, stellar product, better than everybody else. Let's get teenagers to work for this, and we'll trust it into a bunch of teenagers and maybe one manager that we're going to underpay. Yep, that sounds good. That will probably work. And
but I mean, yes, it'll work. It's not right. It's not right at all.
But not nearly as well as they ever wanted it to.
But I mean, back when I was a kid, I didn't work for less than $10 an hour back then.
Right. Well,
and as I moved up, it was 15, 16, 18, 20.
You can do that? I didn't know you can do that. I forget. I was the idiot that was like, listen, I trust you. You're running a restaurant. You should know what's best. Okay, I'll just trust your $6 an hour
like
to
any
host.
other business. What's best for their pocket. They don't care. Right. CEO, banks, whatever, doesn't matter if it's huge, small, whatever else. And don't get me wrong, restaurants they gotta make it survive, establish, build, grow. Mm-hmm. But if you're skimping everywhere,
it's gonna bite you in the ass.
It's gonna bite you in the ass. You can't rob Peter to pay Paul. It never works. Mm-hmm. You can't skim it down. You're never gonna grow. You're never gonna. It's just the way it goes. Although. Now that I think about it, I think the only product out there that's skimming it down and still growing is detergent companies.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
How so?
Well, because you used to get the big gallon liquid or the powder that was like a half a cup powder thing. Uh-huh. Now you get this little fucking packet.
Oh, well, this thing's... Oh, what's so funny is that even when it comes to the concentrate, like I remember my cousin's like, it doesn't matter if you use that whole cup or you just used a third, it's going to work the same, right?
Right.
I'm like... Oh, really? I just got so happy. He's like, yeah, they kind of count on that because you think like, oh man, it's not going to be enough soap. I should put more in there. And like, they're like, yes, you should. Therefore, you have to buy more.
But now you get these little freaking packets that's got the powder stuff and then liquid stuff. So maybe they concentrated down, made it more expensive, or a better quality.
Or still hoping like one of these isn't going to be good enough. Let me throw a couple in there.
Well, and no offense, but. Throughout the years, and I always laugh about this, but okay, so if I'm going to use Tide.
Okay.
They've been around the longest. It's the best. Then why do you keep coming up with new products?
Right.
Tide with bleach. It's the best. Dude, what happened to regular Tide?
Like, it used to be the best. Like, what, you believe this? You fools. Like,
I mean, toothpaste. How many times you see a brand new toothpaste come out? They just came out with the Crest White Advance. You need nothing else for your teeth.
I remember the first time.
Now we got the Pro Crest White.
It used to be it was all just white. It was all just Crest and Aim or whatever. You
Except
had white.
for the Aqua Fresh.
That was different. I remember. Yeah, no, Aqua Fresh.
Red, green, and white.
I remember when it was just okay. There was either white toothpaste or blue toothpaste.
Blue toothpaste, yeah.
Right. Then it moved out to gel, and then Aqua Fresh it was white and blue or green. They're like, hey, dude, guess what, son? We got a red stripe. What? Can you believe that shit?
Sucker.
And then everybody was like, there's a fucking red stripe, and that's got to be the best. It's got 3 colors, son. And then Colgate's like, yo, dude, we got wacky flavors. You don't even know what this flavor's going to be bad. It could be mint.
Bubble gum.
Yeah, it could be bubble gum. It could be banana.
As growing up as a kid, you had the squish.
You got a pump, son.
Pump,
We don't,
that's what it was.
Are you tired of having to squeeze a tube of toothpaste? You don't got time for that shit. What are you, a caveman? We got to pump that shit. And yeah, every freaking month. But I remember when they first started doing that, just being as a kid, I'm like, because advertising works so well when you're a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember my stepson would always be like, hey, you know, Dave, can we try this because it has such and such? And I could hear the commercial coming out of this kid's mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's your...
This Transformers talk. Well, son, you have that same thing right there. No, but the new one talks.
Yeah, you could look. Oh, here, look, I'm talking. It's the same thing, you know. Oh gosh, what was the funniest one was that cup stacking thing that was all the craze for about 5 minutes.
Oh, that wasn't that long ago. And actually, they have like national tournaments.
There's an office dedicated to it somewhere in the DTC.
No shit.
Yeah, and the whole thing was he was asking. He's like, well, I want to get these professional cups. I'm like, I think those are just Dixie cups. He's like, they're not just Dixie cups. Okay, Dave, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, but they might be weighted a little different.
He got so upset though because I was fucking with him too. I was like, listen, you don't need to spend. How much is that? $20? You don't need to spend that.
Like
Look,
the frisbee golf.
Yeah.
I gotta go buy a new one. It's $15, dude. Walmart's got them for $2.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Like, here's some Solo Red cups, and you can play beer pong with it, kid, or Coke pong, or whatever you're gonna do.
Beer pong with the kid? Man, you're evil.
He's got to learn at some point. But yeah, the whole idea is like, these are professional weighted cups. I'm like, no, they're not. Okay, I'm sure maybe they are.
Certain rim size?
But I guess really, so it's just out of magic coincidence that they're the same size as a red Solo cup. Okay, fair enough. But hopefully, man, one of these days we're going to get a guest on this show. We keep trying to get
Besides
us. Hopefully, within next week or something like that, we can get Hamill on here. Just because he's way more bitter than either one of us put together.
Nice.
And he's a great dude.
Nice.
You met him that one time.
Yes.
And we're still going to be working on some stuff. We're in the Denver area, so if you know anybody in the Denver area that says, hey, this seems like a cool show, I'd like to hang out and shoot the breeze with you guys, yeah, that's cool, man.
Like us, share us, post us, put comments on there. We'll talk about it next time.
Possibly, unless you're just being a dick. But yeah, and you know what? Actually, we need the comments. All right, yeah. So listen, if you're going to be a dick, definitely post a comment because we need the views, we need the follows. Hit this. We can't subscribe yet, but hit the heart button on there. Subscribe, or you know what? Subscribe to the audio of this podcast on disjointedpod.com. That's in the archive pages. And yeah, we're on SoundCloud, we're on Stitcher, we're on iTunes, we're on the Laughable app if you have an iOS device. We're on all that stuff, man. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's building. It's working.
Exactly. So I guess it's probably a good place to end it, man. So anything else you want to say before we sign off?
2 + 2 is not 4.
Okay. You heard it here. Signing off for the Disjointed Food Biz. I'm Dave Germain.
Thor Barkey.
You guys have a great week.
Take it easy.
Time to clock in. Get to work.